I started ALA as a personal project. ALA was to provide budding entrepreneurs with a framework to be successful in business.
ALA's stated purpose is to help business leaders to grow their businesses geometrically.
I think there's a gap. There are a lot of things we learn at home and in school, but nothing ever prepares us for the real world.
You learn from engaging.
For me, when I was invited, I thought it was an excellent opportunity to share a little bit of history.
To be honest, of what use is it when you have experience and you have knowledge and you don't share it?
You extract people from their day-to-day, put them in a new environment, stir the pot, and begin to see creativity emerge.
One of the things we must do is to create a sustainability system whereby our companies become world companies. And I think part of what also teaches is that it teaches us to start thinking like that.
ALA's impact will be evident in the number of businesses it has incubated and helped to grow.
Our scorecard really is the success of our clients.
If I take a look at some of our entrepreneurial businesses, they are the small ones that were operating from their dining table, and today that same business has a building of its own in less than 5 years, doing a geometric growth in terms of their turnover.
But how did we now grow as a business? And I would have to narrow that down to meeting Austin Okere. Whatever he said there, I needed that message at that time, in that moment. We went from a very low moment to our highest moment.
It's quite unusual to have the start of a graduate that starts off with a board. But for all us techniques, we've been able to build the structures from the beginnings.
In terms of strategy, vision mapping, these are viable skills that we implement every day that we learned at the Academy.
It's a story of a startup that has grown from just being a startup to a company that now serves corporates, companies that are notable in the industry.
It really helped us see the business side of our creativity.
We've grown double digits when it comes to our sales.
I believe that anybody that works with ALA, they will see the change.
I'd heard about the great work being done by Austin.
I think personally, he's very committed.
Somebody Nigeria should be proud of, and the African continent as well.
The mere thought of establishing that institution is one that anybody would commend.
You're having a huge impact in the lives of the entrepreneurs.
Thank you, ALA, for building the business community.
I think you've challenged what we consider to be the norm.
5 is a good place to be. There's a longer path to go.
So happy anniversary, ALA.
I wish ALA great success.
Very much looking forward to celebrating 10 years with ALA.
The words I'll describe ALA with would be empowering and agile.
Shared prosperity.
ALA is dynamic, it's exceptional.
When I look at African businesses, they're not different from businesses anywhere in the world. Many of them start out entrepreneurial or family businesses. And you see that when a business starts, it's like a shooting star, and then it falls flat, and then either it continues suboptimally or it dies a painful death. I think the first thing we have to ask is, as a collective of businesses in Africa, do we know what we know? Do we have a body of knowledge which we can tap into to avoid the pitfalls of the past, to accelerate the inputs we put into the business to get the most out of that input? Or is everybody starting from the beginning as if there is no learning to leverage on? What the Ausso Leadership Academy therefore did is look at a model that works and provide a framework for African companies to scale geometrically. And that framework helps them, therefore, to be agents of shared prosperity, which is my passion. If they scale geometrically, then they optimize the jobs they create and will have more people in the productive sector. ALA is not the first institution that I started to impart knowledge. Whilst in CWG, we had a big challenge with skills. Our people that were brought in are very well trained, and therefore they became the sinusoid of people that looking for good staff. And I wondered what would be a lasting solution for sustainable skills. And I birthed what we call the CWG Academy. The idea of ALA came from that same successful model. ALA was to provide budding entrepreneurs with a framework to be successful in business. You realize, shockingly, that these foundations were missing in the development of the African entrepreneur. When we talk about mentorship in the concept of business leaders and entrepreneurs, it looks strange in our climb. But if you look at the developed world where the companies have been more successful, it's a very common theme.
I think there's a gap. There are a lot of things we learn at home and in school, but nothing ever prepares us for the real world. I thought that was a huge gap that the Ausso Leadership Academy was filling. And I was really inspired and proud and honored to have been asked to talk to that class and participate.
You learn from engaging and from sharing your own experiences. You extract people from their day-to-day, put them in a new environment with new participants, stir the pot, and begin to see creativity emerge.
But I think it's also important to share our stories because they provide the inspiration that people need. First of all, to dream bigger. Second of all, to persist through challenges and to learn from other people's mistakes. Of course, they will make their own mistakes. I think finally for me, I also learn from those interactions because learning is always and sharing is a two-way street.
You tend to see public figures and you tend not to know what the trajectory was, what the difficulties along the way. And I found that because mentorship comes very easy to me, I thought it was an excellent opportunity to share a little bit of history, a little bit of my experience, a little bit of my professional career. And so for me, when I was invited, I thought it was important to do.
I recall when I was an entrepreneur building an agribusiness many years ago, starting out in 2010. And at the time, it was very helpful to have advisors and mentors around, people who had gone ahead of me through the same journey. It was very helpful as we were growing the business to lean on that advice and expertise. And being able to be in a position to give feedback and advice to entrepreneurs coming up themselves for me was very exciting.
If you have a good story to tell, then I think it behoves of one to share such experiences. Even if the experiences are not particularly successful, you can also share that so that people would learn from the mistakes that have been made. To be honest, of what use is it when you have experience and you have knowledge and you don't share it? You deny humanity of that, and the essence of humanity is to be able to replicate and produce as many successful people as you can who would go on and replicate some of the things that you have done. And that makes the world a better place.
I think we need to be a bit more deliberate about our entrepreneurial journey and how it correlates strongly to an effective mentorship program. And that's why the Ausso Leadership Academy has put itself out as a mentor, not just to entrepreneurs, but business leaders in established companies.
Our scorecard really is the success of our clients.
Where we're successful, we're very proud of that. Where we're not successful, we're looking for ways to give a better service. And if you think back to the number of clients that we've impacted in the last 4 years, it runs into now the tens of thousands.
ALA's impact will be evident in the number of businesses it has incubated and helped to grow, and indeed the impact that those businesses are in turn making in the community, not just providing jobs, providing outlets and platforms for other entrepreneurs, as their starting point, and most importantly, contributing to economic growth and development.
I think when we first met, we had come out of a huge crisis in 2016.
This issue that happened in 2016 makes our sales to drop almost 40% compared to the previous year.
For us, it was more of the need for us to make certain decisions. You could call it a defining moment or period, if you will, in this organization. So of course, we engaged the ALA leadership then to clearly articulate what we're trying to do. And after some very rigorous process, which I must say was extremely rigorous, we're able to come up with what we call the strategic pillars.
The challenge was that we needed to align the objective of the organization from the managing director to the lowest person in the organization.
And having been through about 18 months worth of restructuring, we were really looking for lifeblood of new business, a real empowerment of the purpose that we thought we were trying to create to move ourselves forward. And that's when we first chanced upon ALA.
Going back to 2018, what I was looking for as a head of business, as a CEO, was a way to get my team focused on the ultimate goals.
What we were really trying to do with the mission leadership, the way it was explained to me and that we could understand how we could use it, was that we could take ourselves from a situation whereby we were running a sort of convoluted operation and really get clear lines, clean lines of sight and oversight and transparency as to what it is we need to be doing, when, where, why, and of course, how, to drive towards the ultimate goals. And that's something I think we've been able to achieve excellently well over the last 4 and a bit years. When we started all the way back in 2018, we've been able to essentially triple our revenues in that time. We've been growing at a compound annual growth rate of 34% on our revenues since we started through to now. And what we have is a team that is very much more empowered, that has clear sight and transparency as to what it is the business strategy is and what it is the business goals are each year. And that transparency has brought commitment. That commitment has given us basis for trust, and that trust and commitment has given us performance.
I can say that it's been geometric in terms of growth, in terms of the leadership of the organization and how the organization is managed as a whole.
We've grown double digits when it comes to our sales.
I believe that anybody that works with ALA, they will see the change and they will see a better performance in their business, and they will not regret that they have worked with the ALA.
My name is Tosin Adefeko, and I'm the founder CEO of 83 Resources. 83 Resources is a strategic communications and events consultancy. Basically, our primary work is to support brands in their quest to connect. The truth of the matter is, and I say it all the time, that I'm an accidental entrepreneur. After my first degree, I started working as a banker. I think primarily because I came from a family of bankers. As soon as I started my career, I realized, this wasn't for me. The feelings that I had that I was in the wrong place never stopped. So I decided when I was turning 30 to create my own career. I basically, at some point, cut it all off, went back to school and started from ground up. You can imagine coming from a banking background to having to leave work completely and not earning any money, to then working in really lowly paid jobs up until I got the opportunity to work in a career that I enjoyed. What do you think I would have done with that opportunity? Of course, I dug deep. My fear knew no bounds. Let me just say, every step I took was just a step in faith. But guess what the next level of fear was? How do we grow this business? Because I started this business on my dining table. But how did we now grow as a business? And I would have to narrow that down to meeting Austin Okere. It was just a case of me meeting Mr. Okere at one of our Wimby's summits. He was giving the keynote summit. And as a young business owner at the time, I was listening to him telling his story. But whatever he said then, I needed that message at that time, in that moment. Truth be told, my only vision was to serve whatever small niche of clientele that I felt, would appreciate my kind of service. But sitting with Austin in the room, being a gladiator, that's what we were called at the academy, opened up my mind. It broadened my vision and basically gave me really bigger dreams to seek to achieve. Honestly speaking, him and Chris, they were the most important people I met at that stage of my life. I remember one day, and I have a picture of that day, where I had to sit on the floor just because I needed to come up with a cash flow that Mr. Okere wouldn't let me go without figuring out what our projected 5-year flow was. Just when you think that you suddenly come upon your biggest challenge, in there, some good came out of it. Because at that same time, we got a call to work for a global tech company. We went from a very low moment to our highest moment. We have been able to serve global and local corporates, but more importantly, we know that growth is in our future because of what we've done, and we're happy that people are taking notice.
My name is David Afolayo Ali, Content Chief and Co-founder at TechNext. TechNext is a Africa-focused tech media company. We tell the African tech story in a language that everyone can understand. Our objective is to showcase Africa and Africans that are doing great things to the world. My earliest interaction with Mr. Okere was in 2014 when I was working at CWG. My first impression of him as is someone who was very humble, who is ready to teach other people, and somebody who has a passion for the brand, who is very fixated on ensuring that things are done the right way. What has made me most fulfilled my journey with ALA was the learning opportunity. Given what I was working with ALA as a full-time staff, I had the opportunity of meeting entrepreneurs and great business founders. And during my stay, over 2 years of being in ALA every day, I had the opportunity of meeting over 60 champions. And the interesting thing is, each champion has a different story. If I'm going to do specific examples of how ALA impacted our business. First, I would say we started our Technext in October 2017. At that point, we had an idea of what we wanted to do, but we were clear about how we were going to make money, what sort of collaborations and partnerships we need to make the business grow. The way the ALA Masterclass is structured is the first week, you really dwell on the occasion. And that forced me to think about what a Technext was going to look like in 5 years and 10 years.
In terms of strategy development, in terms of planning, in terms of collaborations, vision mapping, ensuring that every single clog in the wheel understands the direction of the business. These are viable skills and values that we implement every day that we learned at the Academy.
It's quite unusual to have a startup region that starts out with a board, but for us as Technext, we've been able to put in the structures from the beginning. Technext started out there with our team working on WhatsApp, about 4 people, but as we speak today, we've got finance or none in terms of staff strength. That is in terms of the code. Our revenue had increased by over 3x every year, yearly, and that's a very significant for us.
My name is Emmanuel Opala, and I'm the creative director at DC Digital. DC Digital is a creative agency that focuses primarily on content creation for brands. We pride ourselves as storytellers, and we're excited to work with brands that want to go above and beyond in an ever-changing digital environment. How we met, it was a journey that started online actually. I had sent a video I had done when the Academy was still in the infancy stage. And interestingly, he watched it and he asked for an audience, and ever since then, it's just been from grace to grace.
The goal of ALA is to mentor entrepreneurs to grow their businesses and scale geometrically. For my own part in bringing that vision to life was to tell the ALA story through first the gladiators, which are the people that attended the Academy, the champions, which are the people that came to the Academy to impact entrepreneurs and their businesses through the champions' insights, and to also put out leadership as well as entrepreneurial training content out there to impact people and their businesses via the business insight with AO. I can proudly say that has not just impacted my own business, but has impacted the businesses of countless people.
I'm most fulfilled because through the learnings I've gotten from this academy, I'm able to apply it in my business.
Coming into ALA, I saw myself primarily as a creative, but with ALA, it teaches you that everybody is a salesman. ALA helped us see the business side of our creativity, which is creativity as a business.
Personally, for me, it's a story of a startup that has grown from just being a startup to a company that now serves corporates, multinationals, companies that are notable in the industry. And interestingly, in terms of customer base, the network that I was able to gather in my sessions, it has really impacted on my business. In terms of the kind of clientele that we work with, in terms of our revenue growth across these 5 years, it's been really a thrill to see, and ALA has been a major part of the story.
One of our biggest testimony in the ALA terminology is called the David versus Goliath scenarios, when we went against a very big design agency in South Africa and we were able to win that project. And we've not just done that, I mean that was just one of them, but we've gone ahead to do documentaries, working with top brands. It's been honestly amazing and mind-blowing.
Nigeria is probably the last big frontier for success. And if you can stay the course and you can be strong, fortitude, Nigeria is the last frontier. It's the one place in the world where you can genuinely and legitimately wake up poor and go to bed rich. Genuinely and legitimately, without doing anything that's illegal or not right,
Serendipity. The Nigerian believes that tomorrow he will be a billionaire, he will be a millionaire, and he will achieve. That is one leverage that we all have, because we believe that we can achieve what we want to achieve. So the Nigerian, that's a DNA in the Nigerian. This is the time to come to Nigeria, because where there's chaos and confusion, right there in the midst of those two are opportunities that you can explore.
Resilience. We're in an environment where anything happens at all times, and being able to survive and build businesses in this environment, I think, takes quite a bit of grit and resilience. And when I look at entrepreneurs that are successful in this environment, especially those that have been able to build while maintaining strong ethics and values, what comes out, when I look at them, is this individual has phenomenal resilience and grit to actually build in this environment, because it's very tough, it's not easy. So for those entrepreneurs that are able to succeed and build in this environment, or even still surviving, I salute you, because it's not easy.
And I think we must encourage all those who dare to venture, to continue to persist. And we must inspire them to be bold with their ideas, to be unique with their ideas.
In Africa, the opportunities for an entrepreneur in rapidly growing markets are amazing if you can find your niche. We have Ethiopia growing at double-digit GDP growth again this year. We have enviable GDP growths across Kenya. We have huge opportunities out there with vastly growing populations. And so the opportunities are there for the taking if you're an entrepreneur.
We live in a hyper-connected globe, where an activity in Russia, in the Ukraine, in the US, in China can have an impact on you in Nigeria. And then you look at your own local activities. Nigeria is not an easy place to do business. Investors generally don't like uncertainty, but with every challenge comes opportunity. And with every opportunity comes the likelihood that you will have some major winners and some major losers.
What makes me excited about turning 5 is how far we have come and how much we have grown, and most importantly, the level of impact we've had.
There is a gentleman who's a colleague of mine who 4 years ago was driving me around Lagos in the company car. Yesterday, he and I were pitching our dashboard to the CTO of a Coca-Cola subsidiary company. And that's a big change, and that's how growth should look.
The Ausso Leadership Academy really created an enabling environment for me to grow.
I'm privileged to work in a business where we're helping people every day to grow, to improve, to realize their potential.
Since I joined, it's been exceptional growth, meeting people who we coach and mentor. It's been an exciting ride.
What we have at ALA is different from what other organizations have.
One of the fantastic outputs for AID is the Alumni Association. We were able to build a community that had similar ideas, that had been through similar training, and we were able to come together and I did. We also had projects where we gave out to school children, to communities around Lagos. And because we had all been through the have a similar passion, it was easy for us to be able to evolve this passion into something that could benefit the society. For me, I think the biggest giveaway here that could use to the community.
ALA is one of those academies that is very unique in the sense that, in the first place, it's set up by someone who is very well respected in not only the Nigerian society, but on the African continent and international as well. Somebody Nigeria should be proud of, and the African continent as well, and the world.
I'm very, very proud of Austin Okere for what he stands for. Not just leadership development. I think personally, he's very committed. He remains someone that comes across as extremely committed to ensuring that, Nigerians, Africans achieve their best self and get to the pinnacle of all that their economies are capable of. And that is commendable. And I think what ALA is doing is his own way of making a contribution. I'd like to encourage others to also contribute in the same way.
And I know that ALA will continue to strengthen, to improve,
and to achieve and to turn out entrepreneurs that will require in this country and the continent of Africa to turn our nation and Africa around.
The Ausso Leadership Academy has done very well in the last 5 years. I've seen a lot of world-class executives go to engage with the various cohorts. And I just wish them many, many more years of success, impact, and inspiring leaders of today and of tomorrow. So happy anniversary, ALA. I wish my good friend Austin continued success as you shepherd this institution along and bring it to global recognition.
I'd like to wish ALA continued success and to thank Austin for pulling this together and bringing different key stakeholders, mentors around the entrepreneurs. And you're having a huge impact in the lives of entrepreneurs, and wish you continue on this journey for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
One of the things we must do as we grow as entrepreneurs is to create a sustainability system whereby our companies become world companies. And I think part of what also teaches is that it teaches us to start thinking like that, you know.
I think that the mere thought of establishing that institution is one that anybody would commend, and I keep on applauding it. And for Austin to sit back to say, you know what, I need to assemble people who would constantly help feeding young Nigerians with knowledge, you know, with all those nudges of wisdom along the business path. I think that's incredible. I can only continue to wish the organization success.
I wish ALA great success, tremendous success. ALA should be here in another 50, 100 years, or what it has metamorphosed into, which should move with the times, you know. I think Austin is a great man and a great leader. And I thank him for what he has done, and I thank him for what he will continue doing. And I thank everybody involved in the institution, including the alumni, who have gone out as worthy ambassadors of a great idea. So congratulations, and very many more successful years.
I think we wish ALA, who've been partnering with us the last 4 years, I think we started at the end of the first year of ALA being set up, and it's been hugely impactful and rewarding for us. We've learned a lot, we've been able to do a lot, we've been able to achieve a lot, and we've grown as individuals as part of this process, not only as a company. So I think I would wish, and we would wish ALA definitely more cake, more champagne, 5 years of which each should be better than the last 5 years total, and very much looking forward to celebrating 10 years with ALA before too long.
Thank you for providing this level of engagement to businesses in this part of the world. I think you've significantly helped a lot of organizations to scale. I think you've challenged what we consider to be the norm. Very excited about the partnership we have with ALA, and I truly look forward to more fulfilling and rewarding time working with ALA.
5 is a good place to be. There's a longer path to go. And I would say, I wish you all the best. You're doing amazing things. You're raising amazing leaders. You're helping businesses achieve their goals. And I would say, keep at it.
First, I would like to wish ALA happy anniversary. I think the organization ALA has been really, really incredible to our own company. And I hope and pray that over the next few years that you get the opportunity to also be helpful to other organizations who have the same needs that we have.
Firstly, the future of ALA is very bright because the things that we offer are the things that indigenous African corporates who are looking to grow geometrically need in order to step up.
What is the future of ALA? Sometimes I sit back and I ponder it myself. I started ALA as a personal project to die empty, to empty myself of anything of value and use so that people can use it. I don't intend to be one of the millionaires in the cemetery, whether in knowledge or in assets. I think our journey has just started. Until we can get more African companies to avoid pitfalls, to learn from the body of knowledge and to grow geometrically and to provide shared prosperity, we still have a job to do.